Tyrone, we always love having you, and we're interested to hear what your thoughts are on this particular first topic, which is: would you basically give up on your ideal career in order to focus on having more time with your family? Ellen Pompeo recently revealed that she chose to stay on Grey's Anatomy instead of pursuing other roles to best provide for her family. And so she had a salary of 20 million a year. She was the she's one of the highest paid actresses on television. So it's kind of unrelatable in terms of the financial part of this. But the question is, what do you make of the choice to go for the steady paycheck instead of maybe pursuing your dreams?
Hmm.
Well,
Well,
Cynthia, it's interesting that you say unrelatable. Sorry, go ahead, Tyrone.
oh, no, you first, please.
No, I was just going to say it's interesting that Cynthia said unrelatable because, for sure for us, we can't relate. But in terms of the industry, uh, this is certainly well within what she has earned. I just want to take it over to Nancy on Twitter, who says, "It sounds to me that the show provides a gigantic paycheck while giving her the opportunity and time to fulfill her passions and prioritize her family, all while being a boss. She literally has it all. Endless ambition, doesn't have to rule over commitment." And the thing is that Ellen Pompeo is, the lead character on a show that's been around for 16, going into its 17th season. She also produces. She's been directing. It's a paycheck that she's been around for, and I think she deserves.
I think it's really refreshing to hear her say this out loud. I think that, generationally, there's been different pushes, particularly for women. My mother's generation, when she came over to Canada from the Philippines in the early 70s, her only goal was find a steady job with a steady paycheck, good benefits, and she continued to send money back home and then proceeded to bring one of her every single 6 siblings, one at a time, over from the Philippines. Her goal wasn't like, find your passion, do what makes you happy. It was family first. And I actually did a TEDx talk about this because I said the fact that my mother's generation was about sacrifice is why I believe my generation was able and free to say, you sacrifice so that I could chase dreams. So as a woman, my whole thing coming into my career was find your passion, do what makes you tick, follow your bliss, shoot for the stars. But I think that there's room for both. And maybe Ellen Pompeo is coming back to that to say, you can maybe have both, shoot for the stars. And as you grow and evolve, maybe your priorities also grow and evolve. And she's got 3 little kids. So I think there's room for both of these. I just think it's really refreshing to hear her talk about it out loud.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it would have been interesting and basically it is hard to relate to because, you hear about these numbers and she obviously had this amazing job. So clearly part of her dreams were discovered. And so the idea that maybe though that she chose to give up on pursuing big, big Hollywood roles, movie roles that would have undoubtedly taken her away from her family for months at a time. We know that that's what the story is for many actors. And so and her husband also, he's Chris Ivory. He is a music producer. So I'm guessing that factored into the equation. He didn't want to give up his career. And so you have 2 working parents who are very committed to their careers. Something has to give. Like she said herself in this interview, she didn't have a healthy home life. And so she wanted to provide something better for her kids. And I have to say that this definitely has come up in my life over this lockdown, this pandemic, and I think so many people can relate to this. The idea career has become less of a focus for me. And because it's become very challenging to work from home and then also try to focus on keeping a healthy home life. And period. This has been like an ever waking thought for me lately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's most important to do what's serving and do what you love. I know that she says she sacrificed maybe the hustle or the risk, the thrill of auditioning and getting bigger roles. But I mean, she got an amazing job. She's done an amazing job with it, and she's and it's been serving. I mean, also she does work long hours as well, so she is still busy. So I think really what it comes down to is the quality of time that you're giving your family when you do have time with them, whether that's a few hours a day or a few hours a week. I think it's most important that you're giving your family and your loved ones that quality time. So that's kind of like my take on it. And I'm glad she seems pretty comfortable.
Yeah, she seems like she's doing okay. I'm happy for her. I've actually always been envious of people like Ellen Pompeo, who sort of figured out that equation, I guess, of how to be happy. And I'm sure she's not happy all the time, but that is the $1,000,000 question, isn't it? Like, what is going to satisfy us, and that balance between career and family and so on. But those people who always have like a plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a life plan, any plan for success, because I feel like for my whole adult life, I've operated under the impression that I need that plan. Only I've never had the plan. I don't even know how to answer the question. Like, what do I want to achieve from this short little life? But I have to say that during COVID, I think I figured out maybe a small little thing about myself that maybe I find a great deal of comfort and satisfaction in not knowing, in not having the plan of what I'm supposed to do or who I'm supposed to be, and accepting that maybe I'm actually the happiest. Happiness, I don't know if we want to get into that. I think it's overrated. But happiness, I'm the most happy in that melancholic in-between state of not knowing, where everything, in that state where everything feels possible, there's still all of that potential, and just reveling, I guess, in the mystery of not having the answers, but being very happy and still searching for them.
Yeah, that's also acting. That's also the acting industry. I mean, there are only so many parts, and everybody goes for those parts, and not everybody gets them. And this is a little bit why I'm confused as to why she's almost rationalizing why she took the Grey's Anatomy role and this huge paycheck. But remember, filming 25 episodes a season, she's in every episode. She's a producer. Like, the $20 million in Hollywood terms is actually not that much when you consider how much work she does. There are actors who make $20 million a picture, and they work 2.5 months, and that's it. So it kind of, what is frustrating to me, and this is not her fault, is why she's out here having to rationalize. I did this for my family. I did this for this reason, where she's getting paid, she's doing a job. Why is it that she has to rationalize this? It makes no sense to me.
Maybe, Lainey, it's because there is so much of that hot competition or one-upmanship, not just in Hollywood, maybe in life. And certainly, I think, with people who work, and it's the idea of like the chasing, right? The what's next? What's your new thing? What's your new gig? What's the next project? The next. And so maybe she's not rationalizing the paycheck as much as she is rationalizing that, you know what? It's okay that she even said this. I'm not chasing more creative roles because the trade-off is stability and time with my family. So, I think you're right. I don't know that any woman should have to justify her paycheck. But what I love to hear from her is to say, maybe it's her whole life isn't her work and chasing the next and being on the hamster wheel, that I think a lot of us, I can relate to getting caught up in that.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that's if she had chosen to reach for Hollywood, maybe she would get that one big film, and then maybe she'd be sitting around going, what's next? And so she chose security and she chose regularity. And for me, what I've been thinking about a lot lately is the concept of time. And I think it weighs perhaps more heavily on women. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately about why that might be. Part of it might be because of our reproductive systems, and we're acutely aware of that. But a lot of it is the commodification of the way that women are valued in our society. And this is nowhere more true than in Hollywood, but it's true in general, regular life too. We're valued for our looks. We're valued for youth and relevance. Those words come up constantly, I think, for a lot of women. And I know for me, I've been caught in that kind of trap of feeling like, oh God, I got to get everything done as soon as possible, because who knows when tomorrow it might all dry up. I might be no longer relevant. I might be considered like old news. And so I've been COVID times have made me question that, because we've talked about this in the show before. There's research that shows it's only around $70,000 a year that is required for optimal happiness. And when I sat with that, and the more I realized I actually don't need more stuff. I actually just need my friends, my family, my time. And so I've been really questioning this idea. And that's why I think for me, recognizing that fact that time slows down when I'm not running as fast as I was before, that has been very freeing for me. And I'm not going to let that go.
Yeah, I think in this situation for her, I'm not sure that when she says she has more time with her family, that it means that like she's around with them all day. Like this is a big job that she's holding down. And I think that for Ellen Pompeo to talk about money, as Mel said at the beginning of this conversation, the transparency, it's great because we've been encouraging women to actually speak more about money and speak more about getting their value and making sure that they are paid what they deserve. So I love that she's out here having conversations saying, yeah, this is how much I make, and this is what I do to make it. What I find a little comedic is that you have people making a lot more, and we're not actually doing the big question mark conversations as to why they're making a lot more versus what they actually do. Adam Sandler has a 4-picture deal with Netflix worth $275 million. Those movies are terrible. He works on them for not that long. He gets paid all this money. And we're not out here saying, did Adam Sandler take that $275 million deal? Should he have to spend more time with his money? Like or his family? We're not having those, like women always get caught in this. You're busted if you do, and you're busted if you don't conversation. So the takeaway from this conversation, ask yourself,
I disagree.
And
I don't
technically,
think
he has more time to spend with his family.
I agree women bring it up.
Yeah.
I agree women do that to ourselves.
Go ahead,
we are
Tyra.
the ones who are like, wow, she makes that much money? Should she be making that much money?
No.
I think that is a part of the problem.
When I first heard this question, I kind of felt a little bit of guilt because I am busy and I'm always working. But then I realized, I'm like, wait, why would I ever feel guilty? Because at the end of the day, like going back to my first point, it's about the quality of the time that is spent. So Lainey just gave an example of Adam Sandler. If he's only working a little bit of time and putting in a little bit of effort, as Lainey said, to make these films, then he has a lot more time to be chilling on the couch, hanging out at the house, and doing other. So I don't know if it's like the type of job. I almost feel like I'm a little bit lost with even what we're talking about now, but I'll just kind of bring it back to myself. I think another thing that was discovered during COVID, during the lockdown, was that I don't want to be as busy as I was pre-COVID. I think I was just addicted to being busy. There was a lot of busyness that was leading to nothing. It was just habitual. So really, if you look at Ellen, and if you look at Adam Sandler, and if you throw Cynthia into the equation, really, we're all busy. We're as busy as we allow ourselves to be, and we're all working with the same 24-hour clock. So what we do with that clock is the most important. And then what we do, or who we choose to spend our time with, and how we spend that time is ultimately what matters. The rest of it is kind of like, whatever.
It's true. It's like being on a rocking horse. You're moving a lot, but you're going nowhere. Guys, after the break, we're going to debate this. If your partner wanted to live down south during the winter months without you, what would you say? We'll debate after the break.